Hey, this PoeticWhiz. I'm going to talk about iOS 18. As you all be knowing, as you're already aware, we are almost few weeks away from iOS 18 officially releasing. As for someone who has always loved iOS and Android, respectively, regardless of what OS we are using, it be iOS or Android, it always comes down to customization. And I feel with iOS 18, there's a lot more customization. And I feel this time Apple has done something that nobody expected, but I somewhere thought might happen eventually. Apple did not go with the material UI like Google did, but it certainly gave customization to a whole lot new level, from the home screen to lock screen. And I'm someone who always loved customization. Apple has always locked down customizations from the inception, but with iOS 18 I feel there's going to be a whole lot of customization, from your home screen to your lock screen, and vice versa. The good thing about iOS 18 I feel mostly is not just customization, the amount of features it has to offer, from privacy to protection to whatnot. Talking about iOS 18 is not just about customization of home screen and lock screen, as well as the basic features it provides. The necessity feature that we all have been asking over the years. And over the years, I have got few features that I have always wanted. Let it be the dark mode, let it be having shortcuts in such a way that once you use shortcuts, you don't have any other way to go. And once you have your own shortcuts in your iPhone and iPad, vice versa, it's great. Now coming to iOS 18 features, from the most basic to the most advanced. When I say the basic to that, what I mean is Apple has taken the most fundamental and the most basic things we have been always asking for. Let it be app lock, let it be password protection, let it be the whole gallery overhaul, let it be the small tweaks to the control center, to the home screen, to the lock screen. Let's start from the lock screen. It's nice, finally we can customize our lock screen the way we want. Then just have it locked to a few features and that's all. There are a few customization, tweaking your timing, tweaking your widgets and all those stuff. But now you can set up your lock screen the way you want. Your own customization. If you want, you can add widget. If you want, you can remove widget. If you don't want the buttons that are right and left buttons on the home lock screen to be there, you can remove it. Or rather have your own apps, your favorite apps in the lock screen. Then have just camera and torch for that instance. And the good thing is we can customize these options according to our needs. And for me, I feel having customization to this level on iOS 18 is great. It almost feels like Android but for iOS, if I have to put that way. Yep, it's nowhere close to material UI, but at least there is somewhat flexibility. And the good thing is, I did not know, thanks to Brandon Butcher for addressing this, that we can have our own lock screens and home screen the way we want without resetting it every time. What I mean by this is, if you are someone who has multiple lock screen and home screens, wallpapers, according to your wish, you like to set it according to your mood, your workspace or whatever, personal user workspace. You can have those wallpapers set and no need to restart it every time. I thought that would be a hassle for moving from iOS 17 to 18, but that feel Apple has figured that out in some way possible. That's nice to see in one way. I don't know if work mode still work as how Android has it. When I mean how Android has it, now we know Android supports dual SIMs. If you look at the dual SIMs, the home screen and lock screen have both separate wallpaper and home different layout. I don't know if we can do the same in iOS 18 or no moving forward, but I'm happy that what we are getting, the customization with the home screen and lock screen, is great as for the inception. Talking about home screen, get a bit with iOS 18 home screen, things get a lot changed. When I say change, we are getting sort of material UI finish to it. Android customization. Now you can tweak your icon the way you want, light, dark, or the default, or tinted. I'm talking about the tinted version of iOS 18. The tinted version I feel those are not great. Here's why. As someone who designs and who understands design, if Apple had gone with the hex code way of tinting, I feel it would have been much better than having an eyedropper tool to do the color drop. Then rather use the eyedrop tool. Choose your colors. Then have an tint shade and tint color. Then have just two options for tinting. If there was a hex code way of doing it, it would be much better, not just for a regular consumer, as for someone who loves having their own custom hex code applied on the iPhone and directly use it. Then having to tint it via two separate options. To give a better understanding is what I'm really trying to say is Apple has given two options for tinting. Tint it the way you want in these two configurations. Choose the color you want, choose the tint mode from light, dark or whatever. But here's what I'm asking Apple to do, or someone at Apple hopefully listens. Use the hex code values in order to have a better tint, have a more neutral, consistent, not just in colors, but also have a way of doing things, like the foreground or whatever, background, whatever. Look great. That's what I'm really trying to emphasize is here. Now coming to dark mode on icons. Dark mode on icons. I feel Apple has done it great. I don't know if still I am a fan of it or no, but it's nice to see dark mode being applied overall. And that's something I personally prefer, or I personally would go over the tinted modes. Tinted shade, basically what I'm trying to say is. Another good thing with iOS home screen is not just the dark mode features it has to offer overall with the overall UI, but also you are able to choose between dark and light mode depending on your preference. What I'm really trying to say is, like, you might be someone who likes dark mode but you don't want a darker icon, so you go with the default one what Apple has always gone for. So you can always mix and match according to your needs. That's what I'm really trying to let you know. Talking about the control center, I'm still in a mixed bag with the iOS 18 control center. But here's one thing I want to really address with iOS control center. I feel nobody has addressed. Let me know in the comment section below if there's something you can do it or no with iOS 18 control center, because I have not seen anyone big YouTuber, I've not seen any creator mention regarding this particular control center feature I am looking forward to. And that is the page overview or the pagination basically able to customize your control center the way you want, but at the same time remove certain pages that you don't require. For instance, like connectivity, there's a separate page for connectivity. I don't want that. Rather, I remove it and have it on the main page itself. So there are certain tweaks, so there are certain things I'm not sure if this particular set of feature Apple has implemented or no. Then I have countless pages for different categories. Talking about control center, there's one thing I don't like, the layout. I prefer the old default layout what we had on iOS 17. Reason is because if you look at the screenshot side by side of iOS 17 and iOS 18, I rather go for the iOS 17 control center over the new iOS 18 control center. Talking about customization on control center on iOS 18, it's gone to a whole lot new level. I feel the amount of you have customization features on the control center is nice. I feel you can have your own way of customization on your control center than having a set of rules or set of ways like Apple wants your control center to be. And in some way I'm not still sure if I like the new control center or no in iOS 18, but that's a different story for another day. But that's really where I feel with the control center and the home screen and the lock screen, the amount of flexibility you have now, iOS feels like everyone has their own unique taste or their own unique feel to the whole iOS ecosystem or the iOS way of using iPhone. Then everyone having the default way of layout or whatever. customization like we had in iOS 17 and 16 for that instance. Talking about settings overall, it's great. In one way, I feel it was needed, like every element being in dark mode, and the other thing is everything being in the forefront, then everything being underneath the setting. What I really mean is now the primary set of what setting used to be there always on the top, then needing to scroll down. Like for the camera, the app, the connectivity, all these now are in the forefront and not in the like you need to keep on scrolling down. And everything is now neatly categorized in the setting. It's nice. I really like the iOS 18 setting overhaul. It's really nice. Now coming to the feature sets, what I like. First one for foremost, I like that now finally we have password protection or basically app lock on iOS natively. I knew somewhere like Apple would do this. When I say I'm when a sarcastic way, what I'm saying is when Google introduce hide my folders or a whole lot of features where Google announced, Apple blatantly like copy paste. That's fine in some way, but I feel the way Apple has implemented has always been great, and Apple has always been one step further no matter what. App lock and password manager, I feel these two things combined, Apple has done really great. I still somewhere feel the password manager on iOS 18 is nice, but at the same time I'm not convinced if it was necessary to have it in the first. I feel Apple could have just baked this password manager or whatever under, what do you say, Find My or under control under settings, iOS settings. Not sure why Apple thought of making a whole separate app for it, just for the password manager. But that's fine, we are here, we cannot change things. But Apple might have its own point of view or perspective for that matters. Coming to photos, it seems like iOS 18 will photo have big overhaul. For me, I'm not still sure what are the changes are. Yeah, one thing I have certainly understood is that the level of customization, the way you want your layout to be or way you want certain things to look in your phone gallery, you can do that now. One particular feature I feel is not necessarily I'm someone who's excited about or someone who's like needs it. There's one feature I feel it's great regardless of what made Apple do it, that is the billing. What I really mean is like we have one set of screenshot folders, we have one set of billing and identity, whatever, ID proof or whatever. Basically what I'm saying is with time we do certain things we are not aware we needed in the first place. But there are some things Apple have done great. Let it be these things, whatever I'm mentioning on screen. Apple has done great implementation on that. As for the overall photos, overall and the photos on iOS, whatever, photos gallery or whatever on iOS overall, I'm still not sure if I like it or no, but the level of customization it has, it's great. There's one thing I feel Apple has done great in a very subtle way. I feel not sure if this is still available under the settings, but great thing what they have done is like in order to off your iPhone or iPad whatever for down, like completely shut down basically. Nice way of baking that into the control center and doing it in such a slight, in a minute way that you not only accidentally off your iPhone or iPad, but at the same time know, okay, it's in the forefront that okay, this would be easier for you to just off your iPhones and just reboot it or whatever, than having to go under settings and do it step by step. The forefront. That's something I really liked about controls. The one thing at least I liked over the customization. As for the other aspect of control center, yeah, I know this is not something I'm excited or I'm happy, but I feel great that finally we are getting a lot revamped with calculator and nice to finally see on the iPad after over a decade time, and Apple has done a great job. but I feel that's something where everyone has their own appreciation for the calculator app. I'm not someone who I always had it, but like to have. But yes, one thing I really love about the calculator now compared previously is that conversion rate, like the USD to in uh, rupees or vice versa. That's one thing I like about the new calculator over the previous calculator. That's one thing I really love. The currency conversion natively being supported by Apple calculators app. There's something I really want to talk about. Before I talk about it, I really want to tell you about a funny insight with me and Apple event. This usually does not happen. I'm someone who always goes to the whole Apple event. I just thought the Apple event got over in WWDC. I mean, the WWDC Apple event just got over until I realized I just missed the whole Apple Intelligence part of the WWDC. And talking about Apple Intelligence moving forward with iOS 15 Pro series and now coming to the 16, iPhone 16. For me, the Apple Intelligence feature is nice to have in some way, but somewhere my main concern is with the way Apple Intelligence will work. It's not about natively being supported or having support for a limited device. Rather, for me, it's more about how much of battery consumption it's going to have and how much of people are going to use Apple Intelligence in the day-to-day life. I can see myself using Apple Intelligence day-to-day as someone who always avoids Siri. I could see Apple Intelligence being used for the work I do at least, but at the same time I feel Apple Intelligence is not a gimmick, but at the same time it's not something that should be overhyped. And the features it also offer are great, but I'm still having a mixed bag about the overall of the overall feeling of Apple Intelligence. I feel it's nice to have, but at the same time, I wish it supported older iPhone series as well. From at least let it had started from iPhone 13 series forward. Sadly, we did not see that, and we know how Apple likes to do certain things certain way. Overall, I'm really happy with the way iOS 18 is moving on. But as I mentioned, I like to see certain features being applied by Apple in iOS 18, then have it restricted or not been applied basically. Hope if this feature been applied in the future it would be great. I am still like in a not mixed bag basically. I really want to cover iOS 18 a bit more deeper, but at the moment I cannot until I see iOS 18 face to face or personally how I feel about iOS 18. This is just my overall feeling of what I feel iOS 18 has to offer at the current and how yes I don't know if there's something I'm really excited for or is this a thing that everyone has been asking over the years, that is RCS, basically able to message your Android people via the iPhone than having only just iMessage for that regard, iPhone to iPhone iMessage. My feel with RCS is the same way like how I have with the password manager. Nice to have, but still I felt it was not needed. At the RCS in one way is okay to have, but password manager I feel it should have not been a whole separate app, rather it should have been under settings or under my Find My. Same goes for the tinting on the iOS home screen or lock screen for that matter. Oh sorry, tinting the icon based on your preferences. Yeah, my take on iOS 18 is that these are the changes I like, these are the things that I feel Apple has done great. Small tweaks here and there, but a big refinement overall I feel. A much needed one I feel. Yeah. Do let me know what are your favorite iOS 18 features and what you wish Apple should be implementing moving forward with iOS 18. And I hope, and do you feel Apple did the right thing with Apple Intelligence moving forward? Because I feel that's something Many people are disappointed where Apple Intelligence features only supported iOS 15 Pro onward and not in the previous models. But then Apple is Apple, as we all. Because my own thing is that if Apple can bring the Apple Intelligence on the upcoming iPhone SE, that would be a game changer, I feel. Especially for people like me who do not want to spend a lot on the iPhone. And iPhone SE would be the perfect go-to for Apple Intelligence, I feel, and for many people likewise. But for the good thing is that iPad having Apple Intelligence is great in my regards, and the overall package what you get with iPad OS is nowhere close to iOS 18 or iOS for that matters. But iPad OS still I feel needs a lot more refinement, a lot more features that I feel are lacking, or basically app support, I feel, well, at least iPad OS for that matters. So yeah, iOS 18 overall I'm really happy, and I feel Apple should implement few more features, at least small tweak here and there, or a somewhat refinement to iOS 18 that it feels okay. Here you go, this is what you have been asking for, and here's where you are ready to implement it. Do let me know what are your favorite iOS 18 features. Till then, this is your PoeticWhiz. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Live your dreams.